This is a decision many guys have to make in their life. There comes a time you're dating a girl and you're coming up on the 1 year anniversary and you're thinking, what do we do for our 1 year anniversary? Where do I take this girl for dinner? Let me tell you what. No matter what you do, you cannot go to fast food for dinner. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to go to the best restaurant in town, but you can't cheap out on your 1 year anniversary dinner. This dinner is not something that comes around all the time. It's not a common occurrence. But when you go on your 1 year anniversary dinner, something that doesn't happen very often, you need to do it right. You need to take her to a good place. You cannot cheap out when you go on your 1 year anniversary dinner. The Seahawks cheaped out on a kicker. This last offseason, Steven Hauschka, the former Seahawks kicker, wanted a bigger contract. The Seahawks refused to sign the big contract. So instead, the Seahawks said, "No, we're done with Steven Hauschka." They signed Blair Walsh. There are some things in life you just pay more for. There are certain things in life you can't cheap out on. In fact, pickles is one thing. The cheap brand of pickles for me just doesn't work. You can't cheap out on pickles. Now, the Seahawks cheaped out on a kicker. You don't cheap out on kickers. Now, this season, Blair Walsh, the Seahawks kicker, has cost them 2 games. Not 1, 2 games this year. The Seahawks kicker has failed them and not delivered. Against the Redskins, Blair Walsh had 3 field goal misses. And this week on Monday Night Football, the Seahawks kicker, Blair Walsh, missed the game-winning field goal. It's very sad. It's really sad. But look, if you're buying a motorcycle helmet, buy the most expensive motorcycle helmet. You may not think it matters, but when you get in a crash and you really need your motorcycle helmet, you'll be glad you spent the money and you bought a good motorcycle helmet, because you don't need it very often, but when you do need it, you need one that delivers and helps you out. Do not cheap out on kickers. The Seahawks cheaped out when they got the kicker Blair Walsh. That is a big problem, and it's very indicative of the overall problems for the Seahawks. The Seahawks should have spent more money and kept Steven Hauschka around. Do not underappreciate kickers. Kickers are very important. You don't need them very often, but when you need them, you will remember that you cheaped out on a kicker. Do not cheap out on kickers.